Hi, my name is Madhav Gupta and I am contesting for the position of General Secretary of Academic Affairs. I am currently the Institute Secretary of Academic Affairs and Head of Student Support Services. Through that position, I got to know the various administrative affairs of the Institute and how policies work from a top-down perspective. In my previous capacity, I was involved as an academic coordinator in the council, and through that I learned the ground realities of the Institute and the problems of all the undergraduate students. From the past 30 days, I have been doing groundwork with the institute students, the professors, and some official authorities. And through that, I have got to know the solutions of some of the problems that I would like to address through my manifesto. My vision would be to liberalize the institute policies to align them with the students' need, along with bringing the institute authorities to the same page as of the students. Thank you.
So now we'll be moving to the manifesto debate. The panel can start asking questions.
Hello. So, Madhav, regarding the second point in your key initiatives, explore the possibility of extending the ITDP to SOM in technology management for undergraduate students. So, our first question on this is that have you talked to students about this? How many students have actually expressed interest in it? Considering that people generally go to top tier IIMs only after their IITs, etc., do you think people will be willing to spend one extra year just to do a management ITDP here in IIT Bombay?
So yes, I have spoken to some people in the institute, some students who are willing to pursue a technology management degree abroad or in India as well. And they expressed that this would be a good initiative because the degree will be not of 2 years, it will be compressed into a 5-year degree program. So they will be eventually saving an year for the same. And it also means that if you are doing the degree, you can go to a job and you can get good experience for that, and then you can apply for a good MBA program outside abroad as well.
So you mean that people will first do an MBA program here and then do an MBA program outside afterwards?
So there are different kind of specialization MBA programs as well, which the students usually do. So for an example, a student might do first an MBA from India, so a 2-year MBA, and then go to abroad for 1 year short MBA for the same.
Okay, so actually, when you are talking about extending that to a technology management course, so at least in its current implementation, there is a reconciliation between both of those courses from master's degree and from BTech. So how do you propose to do this, at least for this kind of an initiative where you are currently extending the already present initiative there? Because the entire structure, I'm just putting another point, so the entire structure for the management courses is entirely different from MTech courses.
Yeah. So firstly, the calendar of the MBA students is aligned with the calendar of the BTech or the dual degree students. The semester starts with July and ends in November, and the second semester starts in January and ends at April starting, and they are given an opportunity. Regarding the courses, there are some courses which the students which are currently running in the department based on technology management and technology in engineering. We can propose the course content of some other courses as well, which the department can choose to run, and this will be implemented in 3 phases. The first would be about gauging the interest of the students in such a program. The second would be about the courses and the implementation details, and the third would be how the things will be passed and what kind of degree would be offered to those students.
So you said that the semesters are properly aligned, but what about the slots? Because if you know that in management there are different slots than what there are in engineering disciplines.
Can you repeat the last?
So the problem is not with the alignment of the semesters, the problem is with the alignment of slots. SGM SOM follows a completely different timetable, which are not in line with the regular slots that happen in engineering disciplines. So considering that they are not properly synced, how do you think that people will be able to do those courses along with their regular courses?
Since the 5th year is completely empty for a BTech student, I feel that the 5th year the students can choose those slots as for completing the courses that is required for the degree. And in the 4th year, most of the students are required to do department electives, and we can figure out the slot timetable for the same.
So 2 things, 5th year is not completely free for all the departments, And second thing, that when you're talking about IDDP, you also need to complete a certain component of those courses in your initial 2-3 years, right? Like that's the idea of IDDP.
Yes.
Which means that you are going to have slot clashes and a lot of slot problems right from the second year when we decide to do this in the, so this still holds.
Yeah, so the students are required to do 4 additional courses before converting into the integrated or the interdisciplinary degree. And I believe during the span of 2 semesters, the student can do 2 courses each, which can be running in the evening and which can be decided mutually amongst when the implementation details are figured out.
So that 4 courses, that holds for BTech plus MTech IDDP, all right. But if you look at SJ and SOM and the MBA degree, do you know how many courses they have in first year?
No, I'm not aware of that.
So they have 23 courses. Like we generally have like about 12 or 13 courses. They have 23 courses to do. So that means that when you draw the parallel of 4 courses, we are comparing that to 12 courses. You cannot really just go away with like doing 4 courses for an MBA, MBA IDP also. And you will need to do more than 4 courses. I would say definitely at least 10 to 11 courses, considering that it's so heavy in their first year.
So this would be more or less, this would not be doing the MBA degree that the MBA students currently do. The course content would be different for the students who are opting for this program. And the course content will not have those 23 courses. It would be different and more aligned to technology management for the students.
So you're essentially saying that you will be introducing new courses.
Yes.
New courses entirely. I mean, how many courses are there you are currently not aware of? And in the first year itself is 23. The number is 23.
Yes.
And you're going to design 23 new courses. I mean, that's just limited to only first year. I'm just talking about. I mean, even in second year, the entire structure, the curriculum would be way different for management students anyway.
Yes, so essentially the degree would not have 23 courses because the degree is not a 2-year degree. Essentially it will be a 1-year degree, and the degree would have less number of courses because the 23 courses are more specific to the 2-year MBA program. The degree would be more specific to the technology management aspect of the engineering side.
So where would you exactly place it as in comparison to the regular MBA degree that we have? So what exactly is the credibility, what exactly is the level that the job or the company, whosoever is coming or visiting the campus, would expect out of it?
So the degree will be offered by SGM SOM.
Yeah.
And the credibility will be same as that of the degree that is offered by SGM SOM in management, MBA degree. The credibility would be equivalent to that because the degree is offered by the School of Management.
Have you talked to any
Guys, we've
HODs about
already,
it?
this would be the last follow-up question.
Have you talked to any HOD about, any of the SOM HOD about it, or any professors, because you're talking about introducing new courses?
So when I spoke to professors, they were welcoming about this particular idea, but what they were more inquisitive about, that this needs to have a very proper curriculum structure and robust structure which should be passed in the Institute Senate, and then the courses should be created, and this has to come from the School of Management side. When I spoke to the concerned authority in the school, the concerned authority said that this is a good idea, but we need to think more about the courses and the curriculum, which the professor said that we can think about when you get elected.
Okay, so just one last question regarding this. So I'm just assuming right now that this entire program will be only for BTech students and will be extended for master's degree. So this is not for dual degree students.
Yes.
Now you said that obviously many departments are having department electives or institute electives in their 4th year, but there are certain departments, for example, chemical, metallurgy, who still have core courses in their final year. So don't you think that this would be kind of unfair to those students also, because again this is something which is not very much accessible to those students, because again due to slot clashes and other reasons, obviously, as previously stated.
So I think currently the curriculum review is also going on, which tries to shorten the core courses curriculum, which tries to finish all the core courses till the 6th semester of each degree. So once that is done, I believe that this won't be a case with all the other degrees like chemical or, as you stated, civil. So yeah.
Okay. Matter of factual correction, the UG Curriculum Review Committee is currently collecting all the feedbacks from all the departments, and then they would take up a proposal whether to shorten the courses or not.
Okay.
So moving on to the next point.
Okay, so you have proposed that you will be introducing a finance minor. So can you just shed some light on that?
Yes. The finance minor would contain of 6 to 7 courses run by SOM. And when I spoke to the concerned authority, they said that this is a good idea, but you need to propose the course curriculum and the course content of these 3-4 courses that we are short on. They have only one course in finance, which is open to the UG students. And the concerned person also stated that we can club with departments like HSS for the same, for 2 or 3 courses at the maximum.
So have you talked to other department HODs or professors regarding this?
Yeah, I
and
spoke.
which all, just a follow-up question for that only. So which all would be the departments that you are considering apart from SOAM? Yeah.
So I would be considering only HSS department because the concerned person in SOAM said that they won't be willing to club the degree with IUR or the statistics department. And we can obviously try to get IUR and statistics department for the minor as well, because they have courses relevant to finance. And in the HSS department, when I spoke to the concerned person, the concerned HOD, the person said that right now we would not be able to start an economics minor, but we can certainly, if the professors are willing to, the professors who are offering those finance based courses, they can open these courses to other students for minor courses as well.
Okay, and which department will essentially kind of bestow the student with this minor degree?
Yeah, so it depends on the total percentage of the curriculum. So when I spoke to the SOM person, the concerned person, he said that essentially when these 2 departments are coming together, one has to decide who will do all the administrative work, and that needs to be decided in collaboration with both of those departments. More and more faculty to start a new economics minor.
So just building on this, considering that economics minor hasn't taken off, you don't have faculty, you don't have proper courses designed, and the first priority was always to start the economics minors so that we can look at other minors. So when even the economics minors hasn't even started, how can you think that finance minor will be something that will be a reality?
So when I spoke to the concerned HOD, she said that for starting the economics minor, we essentially have to start 2 or 3 new courses, and we need to get more faculty, and because the faculty process and hiring process is a very long process, they need to go through 2 or 3 years for the same. So the economics minor will not be a reality for at least 3-4 years. But for finance minor, already there are existing courses in HSS department which are relevant to finance and which are relevant to the financial aspects of engineering. So she said if the instructor is willing to open, we can definitely have a discussion upon that, and we can definitely start a thing for the same.
But you do realize, right, that you can not just have some relevant content out of HSS, because finance as a field has a heavy dependence on statistics and mathematics also. So you cannot just really have finance minor just by picking up some course basket and calling it a finance minor. You need to have certain course content which focuses on the statistics part of it. And considering that SOM HOD wasn't ready to collaborate with the, let's say, the IU or stats department, how do you plan to bridge this? Because that's a very major problem in giving a finance. If you're giving a minor of finance from IIT Bombay, it should hold some value.
Definitely, the course content would of course go through the relevant parties and the relevant students and will be scrutinized appropriately. And regarding the collaboration with IOR and statistics department, the HOD wasn't willing to collaborate with both of those departments because of the engineering aspect of those courses. So we can definitely have a discussion on the same, that what course content can be modified to have it relevant to the finance month.
Okay guys, final follow-up question from the panel. Should we move on to the next topic? Okay.
Okay, so under the academic policy reforms, you have mentioned that we'll be exploring the possibility for students to retake one course to improve their performance.
Yes.
So could you just throw some light on that? What exactly are you envisioning out of it?
Yeah, during the duration of the program here, the students, some students might not have done a course extremely well, and they want to retake that course to take more learning out of that particular course. So I want to propose that if and only if only one course can be allowed for the student to retake during the entire duration of the curriculum, then that should be allowed, provided that there are semantics and safeguards for the same.
Okay, so first of all, first question is that what exactly are the potential downsides that you see to this initiative? And second one is that have you conducted a survey in the first place that whether at all there is a need to retake any of these courses?
So answering the first part, the potential problems, one is administration side problem, the administrative load on the professors can increase. The second potential problem I see that most of the students who have done badly in a course would be wanting to retake that particular course to increase their CPI. To cater to the second problem, I would be introducing some kind of semantics and some kind of check mechanisms for the same. And can you repeat the second question which you asked?
So have you conducted any survey? I mean, it would be better if you can just first of all answer the first question, I guess.
Yeah, like when you're talking about semantics and safeguards, can you elaborate what all exact semantics and safeguards are? Because those are the ones that are most important here.
Yeah, so for the safeguards, if a student got a 4 or a 5 grade in a particular course, then only he or she would be allowed to retake that course. During the entire duration of the curriculum of the student, they will be allowed to only retake one particular course. And it also depends upon their SPI of that particular semester. Suppose the SPI comes greater than a certain level, suppose the SPI comes greater than 9, then the student won't be allowed to retake that particular course from that semester.
So who's going to check all these things? Who's going to keep a check on all these parameters that you're suggesting?
So when the student applies for the retaking of a course, it has to go through the faculty advisor and the HOD to the academic office, and then the student will be registered for a retaking course, because this is something which won't be very prevalent in all the students. I mean to say that all the 1000 students will not be retaking a particular course in one particular semester, so it can be done manually.
Don't you think that if this is allowed, most of the students will retake one course? If you propose this thing and if it gets approved, don't you think every student will take at least one course during their stay?
Chaitanya, could you please hold the mic a little closer? It's off?
Yeah. So if you are allowing every student to take one course, so if you are allowing at least one course to improve their performance, even if a candidate who got like 9 or 10, he will think to retake one course, right, at least.
So as I said in my last answer as well, there would be semantics for the same, that if a student has got 4 or 5 in that particular course, then only he or she will be allowed to retake that course. If the SPI of that particular semester is greater than 9, then that student won't be allowed to retake that course. And if the student has a CPI of, let's suppose, greater than 9.5 or 9, then the student won't be allowed to retake that course.
Don't you think these are too many checks to keep?
Yeah, so these are too many checks to keep, because we do not want to allow all the 1000 students to retake any course in which they got AB or BB or CB.
So what is the number you think? Approximate number?
I haven't conducted any particular survey for the same, so the numbers might not be very accurate.
So what exact group are you targeting here when you say that people will want to do more courses? What is the group of students you have in mind?
So the group of students will be the students who want to learn more from the course, who got a DD or CD, which might as well have gotten converted into.
You can just sit through the course again, right? Why do you want to increase?
Yeah, definitely you can sit through the course, but you cannot apply for exams and you cannot grade yourself and you cannot do any kind of evaluation in that particular course. There are options like audit and NP/PP courses, but again it's about retaking that course, so you cannot really register for an audit course or NP/PP course.
See, the way it looks, it seems like we are kind of digressing from an environment of learning to an environment where the grades are given more importance than learning. So would you, as like a GSS square, want to do something like this?
So I believe that once a person retakes that course, once they learn again from that course, then they should be given enough credit for them. And to not move to that culture, I am introducing that you can only retake one particular course during the entire duration.
Okay, so you do realize that in a core course, let's say, there are several students who have backlogs who are from ARP, severe cases, okay? Don't you think that this is unfair to those students and the first timers, obviously, that they already have an edge over them? So what exactly are your views on this? And besides, just another question, you're talking about the enforcement of this entire thing. do you think that you, as the GSA square, would be able to hold all the faculty advisors accountable for ensuring all these parameters are in check?
So answering the second question first, if something like this, a policy gets passed in the institute senate, then it's the responsibility of the administration to have the smooth implementation, and the GSA square can, of course, help the administration, and the GSA square cannot hold accountable any of the faculties or any of the HODs for the implementation of the program. And can you repeat the first question?
So what about the severe cases? ARP students, the backloggers. So this is kind of an unfair thing to them, right? So you are obviously kind of providing an extra edge to that student by allowing him or her to essentially take that course.
So again, as the retaking course option would also be provided to the ARP students, and if they want to improve the performance, then I don't think anybody is stopping them for the
You
same.
think the concern of ARP students will be to improve their grade in some course or to clear their backlogs?
Can you repeat?
What do you think the primary concern of ARP students is? Is it A, to improve their grade in some course, or is it B, to clear their backlogs?
It's first about to clear the backlogs, and if the ARP student feels that he hasn't or she hasn't learned the particular course properly, then the student can retake that course.
See, if a person is motivated, so I believe.
I think we've already run out of time.
Yeah, this is last one. Okay. So yeah, if a person is motivated, why essentially this entire thing is needed, and you do realize that an ARP student, the CPR that he or she has, I mean, it won't really matter whatever grade he or she gets.
So if a person is motivated, then definitely the person can sit through, but I'm talking about evaluation. So if a person is motivated, they can sit through the course, but they cannot get graded for the same parameters that they have they have really worked hard when they are retaking that course.
Okay.
Okay, so under the club section, you have mentioned that strive for bringing industry projects for DAV team to increase analytical capabilities of institute students. So how would you exactly increase the analytical capabilities of institute students? What exactly is your vision?
So the DAV team is a team consisting of 8 members, and when we'll be talking to the startups and talking to other companies in the analytical field, talking about the projects that the DAV team has done, they have done right now 2 projects, and they will be releasing new projects. So we can tell about the projects to the industries and to the companies of the outside IIT, and we can tell that these would be more or less related to the market research and related to other analytical areas of the market, and they can give us those projects based on that. The institute students can use that projects on a voluntary basis along with the DAV team, and then that will enhance the capabilities of the students as a whole.
Okay, so since you talked about bringing industry projects out from outside, I'm actually going to shift to the academic policy reforms here, the second point, in which you said that you will be implementing in-semester long industry projects to be taken as R&D. So, do you know that there was a program called ILP Industrial Learning Program that existed in IIT Bombay, and it wasn't a success, and what were the problems in the success?
Correct me if I'm wrong, the ILP Industrial Learning Program was in the winters only, and it was by the alumni of the IIT Bombay.
No, before that, let's say 5, 6 years back.
No, I'm not aware of such program.
Okay, so the problem in ILP was that it wasn't considered safe for students of IIT Bombay to be doing projects directly with industries outside, because of the risk that it posed in terms of IIT Bombay's name going down, because you're directly promoting something like this, and if the students do not perform up to the mark in research projects, which is often a very normal scenario for UGs, then that could be a very huge problem for IIT Bombay's reputation in industries. So that was the problem in ILP. So how do you think just bringing that whole thing back again, you will be solving this problem?
So I'll be addressing the analytical side, analytical point that I mentioned in my manifesto. So the projects will more be along which do not have a very fixed deliverable. They will be more along the lines of a market research report or any analytical survey that the team has to analyze. And I don't see any particular loss of the company or the startup if the students or the DAV team did not deliver to the at the par end that the company expects.
No, how does that tie up with this point that we were discussing?
So Anmol said that if the students fail to deliver to the industry mark, then that would be a problem for the IIT Bombay standards, right?
But companies also have like a very fixed and proper timeline, right? Like you cannot expect them to be as lenient as a number of professors in IIT Bombay are. And you have to consider that they work with fixed timelines, and if you are providing like industry projects to students, that is like a big deal for them. So how do you like make sure that when even in IIT Bombay itself, when we conduct a lot of UG research projects, a number of times they do not go to completion, and when it happens with industries, so IIT Bombay's name goes down. So how do you like cover this gap suddenly with this program?
So again, as I said, the startups and the companies, the projects will not be having a fixed deliverable that they will be using in one of the things that they want to go ahead with. The projects will be more along the lines of research reports and market research reports, which might not have a huge value for the company. So it's a win-win situation for both the institute and the industries as well.
Okay guys, final two follow-up questions.
For the same point.
For the same point, if you have.
Yeah. So have you talked or have you connected with any of the companies who are
No.
willing to actually give you these kind of projects? Because again, you were saying that these projects would be sidelined by the company themselves, right? So what have you ever, I mean, even contacted throughout this entire groundwork process any of the companies that you actually plan on bringing onto campus for this?
No, I haven't been in touch with any of the companies.
So how do you think that this is feasible?
Additionally, like will the students be paid any amount for this?
The students will not be paid any amount for this. There will be no monetary incentives for the students, because when monetary incentives will be there for projects, the problem would be that there will be a lot of accountability and legal issues. So
Right, so have you talked to authorities about it, or whether they're okay with this idea of students doing industry projects from outside?
So when I spoke to a professor, the professor said that if there are monetary incentives involved with a particular industry project, that would be a problem. But if there are no monetary incentives involved with a particular industry project, that's okay with the council doing that.
Okay, Anmol, the time is up.
Combine 2 points, not 2. Yeah, so right, so you talk to one professor, and like we can clearly see here that this is an R&D, you're talking about R&D projects which are given by the departments, right? Like the departments are supposed to be the authority which is giving out R&D projects, right?
The companies which are brought in by IIT Bombay.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you look at IIT Bombay curriculum, that it's the departments which do these R&D projects, which like a student does an R&D project in a department, right? He doesn't do an R&D project in a company. It's a department, right?
Okay, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so how many HODs have you talked to about this, considering that this will go directly to the departments, and how many of them are in favor, how many of them are in against to this?
So I've spoken to 7 HODs. All of the HODs were along the lines that if it's something coming from the authorities side, if it's coming from the IIT Bombay Research Park, then this will be a good idea. But if you're bringing in projects from outside and having monetary incentives and credit incentives for the same, this will not be a good idea and they won't be supporting it.
So all these 7 HODs are in agreement to this?
5 out of 7 HODs were in agreement of the same.
Okay. And what were the problems that the other two pointed out?
The major problems the other two pointed out, the SOM HOD said that there won't be a lot of industry projects that you will be doing with the management department, and the other HOD was not in favor of taking credited research and development. The system is the TA feedback is floated by student support services, and the first year students give the feedback to the professor, and we give a concise feedback to the professor, and the professor points out if there are any red flags for the same. What the system currently, what I'm trying to implement would be that there will be a feedback system along the same lines. The feedback system would be integrated with the TA selection portal. Along those quantized parameters of the questions, the professor would give a recommendation to the department's DUGC, and the DUGC has to take a final call on the best TA award or the TA award. So I think this is currently being implemented in the computer science engineering department. and the dual degrees TAs for the electrical engineering department.
So, do you know the procedure how we are going to give the TA awards?
For computer science engineering, so the professor recommends the TA which he or she feels has gone out of their way to help students, and then the DUGC scrutinizes the application, and then there is a certificate given to the student TA or an honorarium if the department wishes to do so.
So actually there is a special committee like awards committee which decides like whom to give this awards and all. It is not through DUGC, like it's not a DUGC which decides whether to give the awards or not. So as we have a special committee in our department to decide about these awards, how are you thinking to go about this?
I was not aware of this fact that there was a special committee. When I spoke to the HOD said that the application goes to the DUGC and they scrutinize the application, and then usually any of the applications which go to DUGC, they are granted the TA award. So this again would be at the departmental level for first year courses. So suppose the course is MA 105, the DUGC of that MA 105 will again check that application based on the TA feedback and the professor's recommendation, and then will grant the TA award or an honorarium if they wish to do so.
So did you contact those departments regarding this? Like, are they willing to do this?
So I wasn't able to speak to the HOD of the same mathematics department, but I was able to speak to the professors who were offering first year courses, and they supported this particular idea.
Yeah, but the award should be decided from the department, right? You need to contact DUGCs of each department whether they are willing to do this thing or not. So did you confirm that from either DG6 or any HOD?
So the professors, I believe if the professors are willing to push for such a thing, if they are willing to give a certificate based on the TA feedback and their recommendation, that would not be a big problem because there is no monetary incentive involved. If the monetary incentive is involved, it's the call of the head of the department.
So who will be going to give the certificate exactly?
The head of the department will be signing, and the professor will be signing that this is the student who has gone out of his or her way to help the first year students or the students he or she is teaching.
And you also mentioned that you will be conducting a formal TA training program. What exactly is that?
So TA training program will be more about the teaching skills that one TA needs to exhibit, the formal professional ethics and the teaching professionalism that the teaching assistants need to exhibit.
So who's going to take these sessions? And you do realize that there are so many TAs.
Of course, so around 6-7 years back it was conducted by a concerned authority in the institute. I spoke to that particular authority as well, and they were willing to do such a program and will definitely help in the implementation of the same.
What exactly is the authority? Like, was it a professor independently or was it part of some institute authority?
So there is a particular center established in IIT Bombay which is funded by certain alumni, and there are some professors part of that particular center. The center has no physical existence as of now, but the center has been into existence since
What's the name of the center?
The center is Center for Learning and Teaching, funded by Parimal and Pramod Chaudhary.
You can't, Madhav, don't take names from now on.
Okay.
Okay. Shall
Yeah.
we move on to the next one, Chetan?
Sorry? Yeah, okay. So in the social outreach section, you have mentioned that you will reinitiate the creation of cabinet for social activities to create an year-long report on the social activities done in the institute. What exactly are you envisioning there? And is this a POR that you are kind of reinstating?
So this will be a cabinet comprising of all the heads of all the different councils and the heads of all the different social bodies in the institute, suppose NSS and Abhyuday and all the different independent bodies, and they will deliberate about the certain issues that are there in the institute which require redressal in the institute.
Have you talked to any of them about this?
Have you?
Talked to any of the heads about this?
So currently, as of now, there is no specific committee or council which has heads of NSS and heads of other social bodies in the institute. So I believe this is something which can be done.
No, if you're saying that you're going to form let's say a cabinet which will consist of heads of all of these bodies, have you actually talked to any of the heads about whether they will be willing to be a part of this or not?
So I wasn't able to speak to the NSS head, but the other councils head, the other council, student council head, I was able to speak, and they were willing to conduct activities in collaboration.
So, do you know that this was the point of the previous manifesto, and why did it not happen?
Yeah, so this was a point around in the manifesto of 1516 Shubham Goyal, and the reason it did not get implemented because they tried to set up a particular constitution for that particular cabinet, and the constitution, the different bodies had different agendas at that point of time, and they weren't able to come to a same page and same conclusion for all those activities.
So how will that work here now?
So,
besides, you have not even talked to any of the guys yet, so how exactly is that going to work out?
So I believe the situation 5 years ago and situation now is a little different. The social issues are much prevalent in the society, such as mental health, and I believe if something like mental health and something along those lines is to be implemented, all of the councils will come together and form such a thing for this.
And which councils are those?
All of the councils, as in the 5 councils, the academic, hostel, cultural, sports, and the GSA.
So you already have an SGC that has this council, right? What's the need for another
So
cabinet?
the SGC comprises of these 5 councils.
Yeah, so you are adding NSS also there.
Yeah.
Any other council?
The heads of other independent bodies, Mood Indigo, TechFest, Abhyudaya, and
So all of them will be added to this, and the only thing that this body will do is create a year-long report on whatever was done.
year-long report and some events in collaboration with all the other councils. So there might be a week dedicated for mental health or a week dedicated for gratitude.
The point is, why do you need to make a cabinet for all these bodies when you can like just have one of the council do them? Why do you need to like make a specific cabinet for this? Like, what is the exact reason why this point is there?
So the problem with only one council doing it's a lot scattered, and the timelines won't match. The one council might do it in September, the other council might do it in the next semester. So having a particular thing and a team for the same would ensure that all of these people do it at the same time. Secondly, involving other councils would also help in better penetration and better organizing of those events.
What kind of events are you kind of expecting out of this cabinet?
So I was particularly looking at the week of October 10th, which is the mental health week, and in that week we can have all sorts of activities based on in which you have to express what kind of problems have you dealt with or gratitude towards others.
Okay. So next question. Your first point in promotion of work experience and research of establishing a community on research portal. So, like, what is the exact funda of this? Why do you need to create a portal to have interactions between professors and students, etc.? What is the need? What is the idea? Like, can you just explain it in very brief?
Sure. So this will be a portal which the students and the professors can log in, and they can create their own profiles. They can express their research interest on. They can tell what the projects that they have worked on. And I've been in touch with a certain authority which is compiling database of all the professors and their newer research interests. And once the portal is up in place, we can have that data and have those professors to interact and foster interactions between the students and the professors as well.
What do you mean by like interact and foster interaction when it's just a database? Like, I could just make a department website page more informative and have all the information listed there. How are you like fostering interaction between students like this?
So there would be profiles of students, there would be profiles of professors, and they can comment on the particular projects that they're doing. They can apply for the students can apply for projects of the professors. The student can interact with their seniors and their peers that the research work they are doing. And the professors even can tell about that there is a particular opening for this project, and the students can apply for the same.
See, anyway, the students are the ones who approach the professors, right? As far as the profiles are concerned, professors' profiles are already there. So why exactly is there a need of a research portal
So-
right now?
So right now, if you see how the students approach the professors, they have to mail the professors every time. They have to always pester the professors, and having the portal, having a portal like this, the process of procuring the projects, the process of interactions between the students and the professor will be more streamlined and will be more smoothened.
So do you think that the professors will regularly check this portal? That okay, right now I need a student, so I'll just go there and check out.
So if the community between the students is well established, if there is proper awareness between the students that this is something that we can interact our seniors with, this is something we can interact with or all the other peers with, I think that would be
You were just talking about ifs. We want some implementation aspect. How exactly are you going to enforce all these things?
so they cannot obviously be enforcement for the professors, but we can always ask the IRCC to have to kind of endorse such a portal.
And
No, so like, has this system ever been in a place in some other university or college that you took it from? Because from what I know, like talking to professors generally prefer students to like just mail them directly and then have them meet up and then talk to them about projects. That is the kind of interactions professors look for, not the kind of interaction that you log into a portal, you say ki haan main ye kar raha hu, and then like students approach him and then like you comment on each other's profiles ki haan ye kafi acha tha. So what is the exact need of like a research portal to like just interaction, like you're kind of like removing interaction here by removing that part of like mails and meetings.
So I believe that a lot of students don't really know about the projects that are ongoing for a particular professor. So if all the professors and students use this particular portal, the students will be able to know easier about the projects that the professors are floating.
So you realize you're talking about a utopia which is even higher than the utopia we've always been targeting. Like सबको portal के बारे में पता होगा and everything. Right now we are not even at the stage where all students can know about research properly. You're talking about a portal in which all of the professor database will be there, all students will be logging in. Like this is like 2 levels higher than what we have already been targeting. And even if that is not being achieved, how do you say that this will be achieved in your tenure?
besides, do you really expect the professor to publicize his or her own projects that he or she might be pursuing?
So
See, talking about domains and areas is still fine. The proper specifics as to what exactly are they doing. Do you really expect the professors to divulge that information on that portal?
So the proper specific description of the project, they might as well choose not to tell on the particular portal, or they might as well choose to tell on the particular portal. And this portal would obviously have the LDAP login system, so I believe that is secure enough to take things within the institute only.
See, it's not about security, it's about the fact that professors generally want students to come up to them, to mail them and ask them about what all problems they have, instead of like keeping on updating that, okay, now I'm working on this problem, do we have anyone up for it? Which is why we don't see a point in this portal.
This will be the final follow-up question, Madhav, you can answer.
So, as I answered earlier as well, if the professors are able to put their projects on the portal, the students will be able to better take up those projects, and they will be able to better answer their queries on it.
Okay, in the next point only you have mentioned that you will conduct a research hackathon. Can you just throw some light on this entire research hackathon that you are talking about? Because at least in our experience, we do know that research is a very long drawn process. And why do we need a hackathon for that?
So this will be a follow-up event for Enthuse that is conducted right after the first year students enter this institute. The follow-up event would have problem statements in the institute, such as what is the water scarcity and how can you solve the problem, or what are the transportation and logistical problems at the main gate or in the institute. And there will be specific mentors for those students who apply for these problem statements. And based on the problem statements that we design, we can also ask the professors to mentor those students.
Who's going to administer all these things? Do you think that there are logistical issues to all these things? And what exactly is the aspect of research in that? Because I believe the professors won't really put in any effort because they know that at the end of the day, it's just something which is, the students are coming, just doing their work and just leaving. I mean, not even work, I guess, because this is just a hackathon. So what exactly are you envisioning out of this?
So when I was talking to the first year students, most of them said that Enthuse is a very good thing, that the professors come and tell about their research, the results that they produce, but no one really helps us to get on the real side of it, how to do research or how to get some hands-on experience. So this will be more along the lines to give some hands-on experience to the first year students, to inculcate a sense of research so that they are more enthusiastic about pursuing such a thing in the future.
See, hands-on experience for developing something is still fine. Research, as I said, first of all requires a very good literature survey. This is again a long drawn process, but which again involves very frequent interactions between the two parties and all. First of all, even organizing this event in the first place for the entire community, freshman community, do you even think that this is logistically possible?
I believe that if a thing like ELB bus can be organized in the first semester, the research hackathon will be possible for the same reason. And talking about research as a big thing, I think if something like research can get a small flavor for the first year students, they will be more enthusiastic to pursue research in future, and this will serve as a good follow-up event for the first year students.
You realize like flavor of research is better served by like, let's say, some short-term projects or something that people would do in summers, etc. But like a hackathon, which I am guessing will not run for more than 2 hours, can never give anyone like an idea of what research is. Like maybe you would have problem statements in which they would just search on internet and like prepare something. That is like more, that is not the kind of research that you want to introduce undergraduates to, right? You want to tell them about what research actually is. So like it's important to communicate the right idea of what research is to undergraduates, and hackathon, like in our mutual opinion, just doesn't like cut that level of like research.
At least as a freshman, I would rather prefer to go through some blog and all. Why would I just go there and try my hand at research when I know that this is a futile exercise anyway?
So because this would be a 1.5 week, 2 week long research hackathon where the students have to submit in some presentation, and the students have to present the solution of the particular problem, and the problem statement would be more centric towards the institute. I think this would serve as a good research exposure.
You should call that an institute case competition, right? That's how it sounds to us, right? It's not like a research hackathon.
So because the problems would be more along the lines of how to solve water scarcity in the institute, or how to solve the logistical problems in the institute, I think there goes a good amount of applied research into the same, and the students would get a good exposure out of it.
No, Sarthak, that would be the final follow-up question that you were asking this one.
So when are you thinking to conduct this session?
So after enthuse, the problem statements will get released, and then in 1.5 or 2 weeks, the final presentations would be made by the first year.
And what is the expectation from the audience you are expecting?
From the
Who
from the
are
participants.
participating?
So it can be as simple as that they have put in enough efforts to research about that particular problem in the institute, have talked to certain kinds of places, or gone to certain kinds of places to find out more about that problem.
Okay, now since we've exhausted the time allotted for manifesto debate, done. Do you have a quick one-liner question? There won't be any rebuttals allowed.
Just one question.
Small question.
Okay, so maybe I'll just quickly go through this point. So there's this restart the course rank portal, or portal to submit reviews by the students for the students, which encompasses and aggregates reviews from interdisciplinary programs as well. Right, so this is under web and infrastructure. So I hope you do realize that the SMP already have the DAM blogs there individually, which are very specific to the department. Besides, the SMP also has credible sources in terms of the DM mentors and the ISMP mentors, who essentially are already there to fill up all these reviews that are needed. So why is there a need of this other portal in place?
So I believe that there goes a lot of effort and a lot of pestering process by the DAM coordinators and the SMP team to get and procure those reviews which the DAM mentors themselves have done. And the secondly, there are no existing course reviews for interdisciplinary courses such as systems and controls or that kind of courses, and students really struggle to find courses and course reviews for the particular same courses. Third thing about who will be reviewing these particular courses, so the portal will have a mechanism to vet those particular reviews by the UGAC team or the SMP team if they agree to do so, and then the reviews will be published finally if once the team vets those particular reviews.
Guys, I think that clearly answers your question. Now we'll be ending the manifesto debate and would be starting with the topic debate. So I would like to request one of the volunteers from the audience, someone to volunteer from the audience to basically do the chip picking for the topics. Nobody's volunteering in the meantime. Is somebody coming? So the first topic is that there have been numerous instances of a huge grading disparity between sections in department core courses which have a large UG intake like civil, mechanical and chemical, which is not at all desirable with regards to students. So as a GS, what do you think you can do to help the students and what procedure would you implement?
So I agree with the fact that there is grading disparities and content disparities between departmental core courses which have multiple sections or two sections for that matter. The solution to this particular problem would be if we can have a particular proposal for the same for these departmental level core courses, and the professors, the course in charge of that particular professor can decide the course content beforehand and the grading policies beforehand, and the mid-semester, end semester examinations of those particular courses, if they can be same for or have the same course content and syllabus for the same. And then I think most of the problem will be solved if the course content and the grading scheme will be decided beforehand and submitted to the concerned HOD.
So first of all, coming to your point when you said that the professor, the instructor in charge of that course will be a pre-deciding kind of for the grading scheme and all. So there are more than one instructor we are talking about. So
Yes.
how do you essentially reconcile both of those professors? Because the main argument from the professors is that this is something which is kind of snatching away their freedom of pushing students more towards their course. So how do you deal with these kind of situations?
So the concerned department HOD and the concerned DGSEC can push this particular proposal once this is implemented and approved in the Institute Senate, and then they can follow up on that particular thing that the course instructors are not on the same page and wanting to snatch this.
No, you are saying that if this passes through the Senate, right? But there are professors there also, no? So
Yes.
they are definitely going to raise their voices for this.
Yes.
Yeah, so how do you exactly plan to reconcile those things?
So the problem is with the course content and the grading scheme of the particular courses. So there have been instances in the institute when
Given the fact that the entire
end semester criteria has to be the same, and then you have to grade the students accordingly.
so it's just 40% again. So you told that 60 to 70% is something that you're gonna impose over there through the process.
So that is if the professors agree for mid-semester and end semester examinations. As you said that for if the course is running in two different slots and the professor decides not to have mid-semesters for that particular section, then the 40% criteria would be.
Okay, I think we should move forward. So, second topic for your topic debate, Madhav, is that many students currently are not happy with the way course feedback is being conducted and taken into account while defining the course structure and instruction method for students who are taking up that course in the next academic year. This has resulted into a widespread belief that their course feedback is not taken seriously by the professors. Do you agree with the same? If yes, what changes would you like to recommend to the existing system?
I believe, based on the groundwork that I have done, that the course feedback system and the course feedback is taken seriously by the institute authorities, and the course feedback goes from the students to the HODs after the grading is done, and then to the instructor who has actually taken that particular course. I believe that course feedback form should be a little more concise, and there should be a quick either a mid-semester course feedback or before a mid-semester course feedback. It should be a little more quick so that the instructor actually gets to know what problems or what the problems really are there in the course that the students are facing, and the instructor can improve upon those problems.
So for the general review part, I think one thing that you did not mention in course feedback was that it also goes to Dean Faculty Affairs, who compiles all of them, which is a very important part here. And secondly, you also did not mention that there are actually course feedback committees in the institute who have worked on this. And even then, we have only reached to this part, like which is the final course feedback form that we have, in spite of all the improvements. So those are two general comments on the argument that you gave. Now talking about questions.
Yeah, so now coming to the part that you say that just making it concise would work. And again, there were so many ifs. How do you exactly ensure that this is something which works or this will work? I mean, you're again saying that, okay, if we make the form concise, this is something which is going to work. How does that, I mean, how exactly are you seeing that?
And additionally, the problem was not just about the course feedback form being long. The question, as far as I remember that Varshit mentioned, it also said about the ineffectiveness because they do not see the changes being implemented in the coming years. So even though while we have told that authorities do take cognizance of this, the students do not feel so. So you see there's a clear gap in beliefs of students and authorities. So how do you plan to bridge that? And is there actually a gap? Is it actually taken seriously? Have you seen any changes, etc.? So just cover all these points now.
So about the course feedback thing, if it is a more concise form based on what I've been talking to the institute students, they more or less say that the course feedback form is very long. It has more questions based on the faculty teaching and the faculty content. And if it is made more concise then and made more in the sense more subjective rather than objective, then the course feedback would be better. And the second thing, the course feedback time would be more. The course feedback time is around end semester examination. So if the course feedback can be done before the end semester examination or the last 30 minutes of the lecture that is implemented in the energy science department as well, I believe that would attract more and more course feedbacks and more genuineness of those feedback.
See, again, I'll reiterate the same thing. The question is about the efficacy of the process. It's not that just making the entire form just concise would work, right? So it's not the only problem that, the number of feedback that we're giving, the amount of feedback, let's say, is less. The point is that this entire process is ineffective and there is no output to that. My second question is that you proposed that instead of having an objective form, we should be having a subjective form. So can you just shed some light on that also? Because I do believe that you realize that this is logistically infeasible. Yeah.
So about the first point that that the course feedback isn't taken seriously, I believe it's one of the reasons because around 30 to 40% students only fill the course feedback form as of now, and hence the institute authorities have not been able to implement a lot of changes that they could have done. And if the course feedback number can increase to a certain level of 80 to 90%, I believe the institute can actually implement a lot of changes based on that, which the students will be able to.
This is the final question.
Yeah, for the subjective part, I believe you haven't answered.
Yeah. Also, just adding one more question apart from the subjective part, are you going on record to say that the institute authorities do not believe course feedback is effective because of the fact that बहुत कम लोग पढ़ते हैं? So, are you going on record to say that? And of course, the subjective वाला question.
Can you repeat the last question?
Are you going on record to say that institute authorities are not implementing the feedbacks properly because of the fact that they think that ज़्यादा बच्चों को पढ़ना चाहिए?
Because that is not the case. I'll just confirm that.
So about the last thing, again, the number of students filling the course feedback form is a little less, and the institute authorities would like more qualitative course feedback forms. And about the subjective component of the course feedback form, I believe if there are more qualitative questions for the same, the course feedback form would have more effectiveness.
Just a correction, factual correction, that here we were talking about professors taking action on the feedback, not the institute authorities. Institute authorities do take the feedback seriously, and there are certain things or incentives that the professors have for to get good feedbacks.
Yeah, so the subjective thing that you're talking about again, is it logistically feasible? How exactly are you going to administer that?
I mean, just from like a general like knowledge, like don't you think that objective forms are like better to fill like as a student like that? I think that's what like all of us believe, that if you have objective forms, you're more likely to fill them. Subjective forms take time and like effort to think. So,
And who's going to review those many forms, man? I mean, the entire student community consists of around 4K 5K students. Those many, let's say even 40% of them fill that up. So who's going to administer those things?
So again, as I was saying, that if the course feedback form is a little more concise, has some objective questions and has some subjective questions as well. If the subjective questions have a lot of qualitative responses, the instructor can see the comments and then they can implement the proper comments that they want to.
Guys, now I think we've run out of time, so we'll be moving forward. Now, the panel of the SOAPBOX would be doing a background check on Madhav on the basis of his past work experience in the council and in the institute.
Okay, so Madhav, for the background check, this is a general feedback that has been received is that the UG information booklet and other booklets were like very expansive. They covered just too much content. And I think I can see from your manifesto that you're planning to like make even more number of booklets, etc., and just pour a lot of content there. So looking at the feedback that was given for UG information booklet, there's too much content and too much things to look at. It's also believed that feedback was not taken properly on the booklets, that about whether do they actually want this or not. Like how many booklets will the council keep on publishing and printing? So what is your comment on that?
So I wanted to make the booklets more expansive to cover all the institute opportunities that are there for the undergraduate students, for the undergraduate information booklet. For the course information booklet, again, there are around 600 courses in the institute running in an academic year, and I believe that to cover all of those courses, the booklet has to be a little long, and there are specific sections for the students to go into and check about the reviews and the courses that they would like to take.
That's enough. So now, I think we'd be looking forward to inside asking questions.
So, Adar, if you allow dual degree students to do internships in their fourth year, will it not be unfair to the BTech students who have lesser chances for internships before placements, lesser experience in the industry?
So right now, what I would like to do is to apply a blanket rule for those dual degree students for the guides that they are choosing. So if the summer work that they are doing can be preponed to the fourth year, second semester, I think those will be allowed to do internships. And regarding the placement, I think the unfairness would occur if the students sit in their third year as well as their fourth year along with the BTech students. So if they are given an option to sit in either their fourth year or their third year, then the unfairness would be removed. And I think it's more or less fair if the student has done more courses, if the student has had more experience in the field of industry, then they have better opportunities for the same.
So you understand that the numbers are limited. So if you allow the 12 degree students in that year itself, the numbers will reduce for the BTech students.
So I believe that it's not a situation like 900 dual degree students are competing with 900 BTech students. The numbers are more like 80 dual degree students are competing with 900 BTech students. And if we also allow internships through placement cell for dual degree students, there might as well be more core internships for those dual degree students, and it might be possible that the dual degree students take a pre-placement offer and there is no unfairness in the actual placements that the BTech students face with the dual degree students.
So next question. Do you think allowing students to retake a course is a good idea? Don't you think it would create unfairness for students who have put in efforts in the original course?
So about retaking a particular course, as I said, that there will be checks and mechanisms for the same, that the student will only be allowed to have one particular course to be retaken throughout their entire duration. And regarding the unfairness point for other students who have taken that course earlier, I think it's fair if a student is putting effort into that particular course and giving the exams again out of pure interest. They can be allowed a better grade for that same course.
So I will give you a counter example here. So the semantics we are talking about was like 4 or 5 CGPA, right? So say the student gets a 5.6 CGPA or 6 CGPA. So the next student who is the 5 CGPA, right? He takes the course and he gets 8, right? So that is the unfairness I am talking about.
No, I was talking about if the student gets a 4 grade or a 5 grade in that course. I was not talking about CGPAs.
So that course itself.
So now we'll be looking forward to the audience asking questions. So anybody who wants to volunteer and ask a question can come right ahead to the podium. Does anybody have any questions? We'll be taking a maximum of 3 questions.
In your manifesto in the external relations, the first point, strive for inter-IIT MOUs with more IITs promoting semester exchange culture within the IITs. So I believe there is already such a program in place between 3 IITs, but there have been certain issues with the implementation of that. In fact, that very few people are opting for this as an option. So do you see any other potential downsides to this? Or how do you aim to tackle this through your initiative? How do you think about improving this?
Yeah. So about the current 3 IIT MOU system, I believe on my interaction with the concerned authority, the MOU has expired. And about having more MOUs with different IITs which are there in India. I think right now as well, IIT Bombay signed a new MOU with IIT Jammu. And there are 2 students coming in to IIT Bombay as well. So I believe if more MOUs are signed between different IITs throughout India, let's suppose IIT Kanpur has a very good aerospace system. So if an MOU is signed with IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay students who are passionate and enthusiastic about aerospace and research, they can go to IIT Kanpur for semester exchange and pursue their research interests there as well.
I think when most semester exchange programs people would like to go on, they prefer going abroad or they prefer using that time in a different fashion. So through your groundwork, did you identify whether a larger number of people would be interested in this kind of a model?
So I believe if the student can have 2 or 3 major reasons to go for an inter-IIT semester exchange. One is about the research facilities at a particular IIT. The second is to have to go to either his or her hometown to stay with their particular families, and 3, to have a change of environment which they want by spending less amount of fees and less amount of money.
Does anybody else have a question?
Yeah, he has a question. It will be better
It
if
won't be
you
audible
have-
if these people decide to include it in the SOAPBOX video.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, so this point is related to the web-related initiatives and stuff in the manifesto. So when I was reading it, I saw a lot of new portals and stuff that you want to develop. For example, course rank, admin portal, research portal. So my concern is that the strength of the UGSE web team is hardly 3 or 4 people, out of which 2 of them are just Sophies with not much experience. And the reason I'm asking this question is because similar points have been there in previous ISA Square and GSA Square manifesto about very ambitious web plans and all, and none of them have been implemented simply because there's not enough people to do it. So what do you plan to do differently to make sure that these things actually get done?
So I believe there is a developers community coming up as well to implement such projects, which is a community amongst the institute students, which will comprise of web developers, and common projects like the course rank portal or the admin connect portal can get implemented through that particular community.
So one other thing related to the portals and only, I feel that it's not like there's so many different portals, but most of the students are unaware about this, and whenever they have any work and all, they're much more likely to just personal message the GSA Square or the whoever is involved. So is there any way you feel you can centralize all these portals so that students have like one go-to place to go to rather than all these different scattered things?
So that was one of the things I did not include in my manifesto, to have a central UGSE website for having all the portals in place, having all the booklets in place, and having all the web-related initiatives that are there in the institute, so that the students can go at a particular website and they can find all of those things. After a lot of groundwork, I did prepare my manifesto and identified a lot of problems that I want to address throughout my tenure. I have started my campaign and I will be visiting your hostels soon to tell you more about my manifesto and my vision. Thank you for your time and patience.
Okay guys, thank you all for coming in. Now we'll be starting with the GSTA candidate soapbox in a few minutes.